Welcome to Boring News from Not Boring, where we bring you the news as Polymarket sees it. I'm your host, Packy McCormick's voice, and my job is to put my mouth where your money is. Today is 11th of December, 2024, and here's a quick roundup of today's stories. Bashar al-Assad's regime collapsed on December 8, 2024, with opposition forces led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham seizing Damascus. Polymarket gives around 92% odds against national elections in Syria by January 31st, 2025. In the U.S., 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was arrested for murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson using a 3D printed ghost gun, with Polymarket at around 98% odds, confirming the weapon's origin. Time's 2024 Person of the Year shortlist features Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and Elon Musk, with Trump leading Polymarket odds at 82%. The winner will be announced tomorrow. Before we move ahead, let's also do a quick roundup of how some of the stories we have covered before have moved. The market on Polymarket. Whether Daniel Penny would have been found guilty has concluded with the outcome no, as he has been acquitted of criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely after a jury deliberation that lasted over 4 days. The verdict came after prosecutors agreed to drop the higher charge of second-degree manslaughter, allowing jurors to focus solely on the lesser charge. The verdict has sharply divided New York's political establishment, with Republicans praising the outcome while progressive organizations and advocates expressed outrage, characterizing it as a failure of the justice system. In a historic turn of events, Syria's Bashar al-Assad's 24-year presidency has abruptly ended as opposition forces seized control of Damascus, marking the collapse of over 5 decades of Assad family rule. The swift offensive, which began in late November, saw rebels capturing major cities including Aleppo, Daraa, and Homs, ultimately forcing Assad to flee the country and accept asylum from Russia. The market has concluded with a no, as Assad is no longer the president. Now let's hit today's stories. This dramatic shift follows opposition forces, led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, capturing Damascus. They've established a transitional government under Mohammed al-Bashir until March 2025. Assad, meanwhile, has fled to Moscow. The swift rebel offensive also saw the capture of major cities like Aleppo, Hama, and Homs. Syria's last parliamentary elections were held in July 2024. The Ba'ath Party maintained control then, but the landscape has now shifted dramatically. Assad's fall marks the end of over 50 years of Assad family rule, starting with Hafez al-Assad in 1971. The market opened on December 10, 2024, with trading volume standing at around $12,000, and the market gives 8% chances of the elections happening by January 31st. The Syrian National Coalition has announced an 18-month transition period. This, coupled with Mohammed al-Bashir's leadership, underlines the likelihood of a longer transition. The UN calls for a transition, maintaining Syria's institutional integrity. Yet, with HTS's past ties to al-Qaeda and regional power plays, achieving stability remains a significant challenge. How Syria navigates this precarious moment will shape not just its domestic future, and the world is watching. Let's move on to the next story. Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old Ivy League graduate, has been arrested and charged with the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City. The case has drawn attention due to the use of a 3D printed ghost gun with a suppressor. Mangione was captured at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after a 5-day manhunt. He was found with the suspected murder weapon, counterfeit IDs, and a manifesto critical of the healthcare sector. The weapon linked to Mangione matches a specific 3D printed model known as the Chairman 1v1. This development has sparked discussions about the regulation of untraceable firearms. The shooting represents a concerning mix of corporate violence and advanced weapon technology. Mangione, a former data engineer and University of Pennsylvania graduate, allegedly expressed anti-corporate views in his manifesto. The Polymarket for the case has seen a surge in activity. Trading volume rose to over $50,000, with the 24-hour volume exceeding $31,000. The odds strongly favor yes at 98%, indicating very high certainty that the weapon was 3D printed. Law enforcement's detailed descriptions have bolstered this belief. On X, people are talking about the implications of 3D printed weapons with concerns about their accessibility and the challenges they pose to gun control efforts. Let's move on to our last story. Time magazine has unveiled its shortlist for the 2024 Person of the Year, spotlighting 10 finalists. Among them are President-elect Donald Trump, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Elon Musk. Trump is leading the pack on Polymarket, boasting an 82% chance of winning. Trading on Polymarket opened December 5th and has seen impressive activity. Total volume stands over $411,000, with a daily volume exceeding $108,000. This points to strong interest as December 12th, the date of the announcement on NBC's Today Show, draws near. Elon Musk trails with around 8% odds, while Kamala Harris holds 3%. Other candidates like Benjamin Netanyahu, Joe Rogan, and Mark Zuckerberg are also in the mix, though with much lower probabilities. Musk's endorsement of Trump, alongside a $200 million bet, has captured attention, adding complexity to the narrative. Each of the stories we covered today is ongoing and may change dramatically. For updates and detailed odds, head to polymarket.com. That's all the news that's fit to predict. This is me, Packy McCormick's voice, signing off. May the odds be ever in your favor.